Okay. Hello, hello. We are live. This is not you. Perfect. Okay. Hmm. Today we're drawing poses for imagination. Hi, Drew. How's it going? Just a bunch up more. Oops. Hey, 4. Morning. Some poses for imagination today. Hopefully, inking one. I think I want to ink this one down here too, but I wanted to draw a few free gestures today. Yeah, pretty much. Hey, Ave. Shower and come back. Okay, yeah, sure. We'll be here for a couple hours. Hi. Hey, people. Hey, Akil. How's it going? Try not to straighten out the pose as I go down, because it's above the figure. Let's go quick. That. Let's see. Got my bed bug traps today, so hopefully I will get some sleep tonight. I don't know if I actually have them, so it's more of a way to check for early signs. Oh man. I actually had bed bugs when I went to Sweden. The person's place that I stayed at, she bought a used bed, from what I remember. Yeah, I think that's what it was, and that typically is a no-no because of bed bugs. Okay, this is definitely wrong. Hang on. No, it wasn't a student apartment. The school that I went to helped us find like apartments through regular apartment hunting places in Sweden. I don't really remember what it was. Okay, so if I were to draw a foot on here, oh god. That's not the right perspective at all. Yeah, it was just a woman's apartment that she had an extra room in, and it was very nice. It's just I got bed bugs. Before I went home, I had never seen this before. Maybe it's exclusive to Sweden, but they had it in their like common room area where the laundry stuff is. They had a heater, and to get rid of bed bugs, you generally have to heat them out of your stuff to kill them completely. So I had to heat all my stuff to get rid of them. It was an interesting process. Hey, Quacken. Never travel. Do I have guest visits often, so I should be safe? Oh yeah, they can travel on you. Usually, so what I learned when I had to look for mine, was that you want to check like under your bed in the corners and everything. Like take a flashlight and everything, take a really close look and see if you see any black dots. Check your pillows for like rust colored spots. That's like that's supposedly a giveaway as well. Means they've been biting you. Right, I hope. Got any signs of my mattress? I do have red marks on my back that match the pattern bed bugs have. Oh, damn. Sucks. So yeah, you probably have them. Do they hurt? No, technically not dangerous. Yeah, they they're really not. I mean, the only problem is that they keep feasting on you and they're irritating, but really they don't do anything to you. Um, like in terms of they're not disease ridden or anything like that. It's just gross. Because they feast off of you and there's more of them, and then they don't always hide in your bed too. Sometimes they hide in the walls. They only come out at night when you're sleeping so they can eat more of you. It's quite unpleasant. Sounds creepy and unpleasant. Yeah, that's because it is. Yeah, it's quite a hard pest to get rid of. Uh, Sometimes people try to get rid of them like fumigating or whatever, and it doesn't totally rid your place of them. I was lucky I was moving and it wasn't my actual house. That's why I made sure I heated everything and I was bed bug free before I went back home, because I was like, I'm not taking these back with me. Cups you put under the legs of the bed. Oh yeah. No, I heard about that. Yeah, so in order to get to the bed, they have to climb up the legs. So they crawl into these cups to get to the leg to climb up, and then there's stuff in the cup that kills them. Good luck, 4. I hope that all that works. That was a hard pose. Okay. Like I said, I'm not gonna bother cleaning this up. There's too much here that I don't know. Don't want to throw away clothes or wash everything in super high temps. Or you could also, I didn't have to wash anything at a high temperature. It was like a heating closet. I had never seen one before, except in Sweden, so I'm assuming that they have more. It wasn't just a weird thing that I found, but it was like this heating closet that you could put things in for a certain amount of time. You didn't have to actually wash anything, and that supposedly, I think, at a certain temperature, it kills them for a certain amount of time. Kills them. So maybe you can find that way you don't have to wash your clothes and hope, see everything shrink or something. Alright, let's try a simpler pose in perspective. So we don't hate our lives. Sounds like Torksap. I appreciate those in kindergarten. We put our winter clothes to melt off snow. They get really nice and warm afterwards. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I do not know what it was called. But that sounds about right. Sounds like the right use for it. Mine was bed bug killer, but it was probably meant to dry off things. Okay, next pose, and then I will get to your question, Akil. Something simpler. And less intense perspective. this up. I've been meaning to ask, how do you learn perspective for drawing poses? Oh, hi Thomas. Yeah, basically peeling headphone cups. Um, the socks do not improve the audio. In fact, the audio jack in this headphone is like slowly failing, and the cord is like slipping out. So I keep having to turn it and like twist it around to make it give me the full sound, which is super irritating. Well, my mom came and visited this weekend. She gave me these, or this past week. My mom and my dad visited. They gave me, Jesus. She gave me her old headphones, which are like these Bose things. I want over the ear ones, so these could be potential replacements for the moment, but I haven't switched them out yet, so I still have sock headphones. Okay, Akil. How do you learn perspective for drawing poses? I mean, everybody generally starts, right, learning kind of like what I'm doing up in here, this square stuff, right? And then you have to apply perspective to the figure. And, you know, you need to make sure you take the time to actually just draw out at least 1, 2, 3 point perspective. Just so you know, 1 and 2 honestly will get you pretty far. But the moment you start drawing poses where, you know, you have super foreshortening, like this or whatever, you know, I don't know why I'm drawing the Michelin Man, Jesus. You're gonna need to learn 3 point perspective when you do more intense poses, intense perspective poses, because they go up in perspective as well. So you, but 1 and 2 point perspective can pretty much cover most of the stuff. So if you wanted to keep things simple, I would stay within that range. Typically, it's just going to be 2 point perspective. I would imagine that many 1 point perspective figure drawings might be boring, or something that like only someone who is very excellent at figures could really draw out something interesting from a 1 point perspective figure. I'd be curious. I haven't challenged myself to do that before. But yeah, so how do you move basically from this to this? A lot of people like to do those, you know, I think we talked about it yesterday, the boxed figures, where, you know, if you're really new to figure drawing, you might have to, like, if I'm drawing this pose here, let's do something that I just did. So if I was drawing this here, right, you're gonna see a little bit underneath there. It's basically like cubes and cylinders. Oh god, that's too much. And you can, I would suggest when you do, if you do it this way, you do the boxes, to bend your boxes. If you get too stiff with stuff, I mean, you don't have to. There are plenty of professional artists that teach without doing that, but I think it just makes for a more realistic thing. This is way too big of a box, but whatever. Just so you can draw that center line and not be so confused. Um, and you can start drawing in the perspective, right? The lines. You're like, okay, this is like that. I'm always trying to think about where the feet placement happens. That usually helps me ground the perspective, right? You saw me do it kind of over here. But if you can draw in like a little X, I typically do that like this because it helps me understand those. That's where the ground plane is, and so I know, you know, that my horizon's somewhere around here, and that means I'm going to be looking up at everything here, so I might see a little bit under this guy's face. Hi, Jakio. I would study artists. TB Choi has a lot of figures in perspective that she draws. Really good to reference her work. And I won't bring it up now because I'm trying to draw my own figures for imagination, but if you go to like even her Twitter or something, you'll find plenty of really great examples. And then you're really thinking through, like, I mean, the boxes is the simplified part, right? So sometimes I'll even do I usually draw just this box now, but if you wanted to, you could do like a simplified tiny box. Like this. I can already tell that this is screwed up. To play around with that. Right? Boxes and cylinders. And some people like to add the little spheres here just to show that that's what it is. You don't need to do that. Right, and that gives you a pretty good perspective, but eventually, you know, you gotta move over to here, and as you learn anatomy and stuff, you can start cutting in and changing these shapes to be more conducive for your building out the figure. And I'm doing terrible at the anatomy here, but hi Ryuzaki, how's it going? Back from my shower. Nice, Ave. Ready to draw? But yeah, if you're Akil, I'm not sure where your skill level is at. But you could stay here for a while within the boxes to just help you get a feel of perspective. Some people like to draw boxes like this over here, and then they put the figure inside the box. I personally do not like doing this method. I think it just becomes wonky for me. Like that. You know, and you get a feel for things. A lot of drawing is getting a feel for stuff, and by studying other artists and sometimes measuring things out depending on what you're doing, like or at least getting a rough estimate, you can start to train your eye to get to understand the measurements that you're looking for. Like, we know that for this pose, the head is, I mean, if you're going by 8 heads high, which is like the heroic proportions, you can measure here and just turn as it goes down the body. So let's do it from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's roughly 4 heads high. And so we know that part of that half of the body is roughly correct. Some people are taller and shorter and everything, so your proportions are going to change if you study different sized figures, which you should, and not just idealized proportions. That will help you and challenge you to be able to draw a much greater variety of figures. But yeah, then as you start to learn, like in the same way that you're doing it here, right? I know that I'm looking up at the box, so I know to draw it like this. And I'm guessing that. But then once you have to switch to the rib cage shape, however you want to do it, everybody does it differently, right? You have to, and you start drawing the anatomy on top of this, right? Like the chest muscles and stuff. You're now trying to guess and understand, what does that look like from this angle, which is a lot of what I'm trying to do. Like this pose over here, there's so much wonky anatomy because I don't know what this stuff really looks like from that angle. I mean, I'm barely competent at it at a basic angle like the pose that I'm doing now. So it's a lot of challenging yourself and doing problem solving. It's kind of like a math problem, but visual math. And then when you don't know something, you go back and look at how the anatomy might look like that from that angle. So I would start with boxes and then layer on anatomy if you can as you start learning it, and keep challenging yourself. If it feels too hard and you're getting frustrated, that's generally a sign that you've made things too hard for yourself, and you should go simplify it, or whatever that means for you. If it means dropping back to these boxes, or like I just did, where I'm trying to simplify the pose and the perspective, because I know that this is a lot more challenging for me. I haven't drawn a lot of poses from the side. So I'm finding a way to challenge myself here, because I don't draw a lot of armpits, and this is like a challenging thing to understand, so I know I need to study that, but I'm still trying to challenge myself with it, while also going with things that I'm more familiar with. Appropriately challenging yourself is very much key to the creative process, so you don't slowly lose your mind. What I've done earlier is tried to simplify the poses to mannequins, but soon realized that I'm not able to get some of the basic shapes right more often with the torso. Thank you. More than competent. Thank you, Ryazaki. There's kind of a fine balance. Like with this one, I decided not to take it any further because I know I'm just guessing. And it's okay to guess sometimes. But I genuinely have no idea, like in here specifically, what the hell is happening. So I gave myself an opportunity to think it through, and then I was like, okay, I got nothing. Like I'm gonna have to study this. So you should try things, even if you know. Like what was it you said? The torso? You weren't sure. Not able to get the basic shapes right. If you're talking about basic shapes like just a square, um, you know, then that's probably an issue. You don't want to. That's why I didn't move any further. My teacher would always talk about how you don't want to polish a turd. I forget how his analogy. Like if you're making spaghetti but you didn't cook the spaghetti all the way through, adding sauce to it is not going to make it better. It's still going to be crunchy, you know. You don't want to spend your time super detailing garbage because it's not going to help you do much. But if you are learning from it and you are understanding new things, then that's not necessarily garbage, right? So, okay, I think I have to bring these legs up a bit. I figure I would do torso, but I'm able to draw the rib cage for it, so I resorted to drawing boxes, then build up from there. I don't know if I'm doing it right. It's really complicated to give you the right advice when I don't know what your drawings look like. If you're struggling with this, I would definitely be staying here for a little while. But if you're just struggling with the move from this box to the like rib cage like shape, then study other artists who show that like underdrawing, like the TB Choi, like I mentioned. Her teaching drawings are so good because she shows how to break down things. Watching the stream and also a wildlife cam, so I might do some animal sketching. That's pretty cool. Yeah, definitely do some animal sketching for. Quack, and you can always start again with the same rough ideas. Yeah, that is true too. There are times where I screw up so badly that I literally erase everything and start again because you're being your own drawing is kind of like screwing you up. So you need to get rid of everything just to like have a fresh start. Sometimes it helps, sometimes you'll still screw up on the same stuff. Just know it's all part of the learning process. What you're doing is problem solving though, essentially. Like when you can't figure something out, like whether it's this mannequin looking thing or moving from the mannequin to the rib cage, Like you are problem solving. So keep going back a layer until you can bring it a layer forward. So if you have trouble with the moving from here to here, right? Start here, the place that you're more familiar with, right? And then how can you build out in a simplified way uh, that box inside of it? And then erase away. Not that this is perfect by any means, but you can keep the center line, you know, and then you're not sure what to do again, so you draw another box. And then you're like, okay, how do I make that box work for me? And you make it more of that underwear shape, and you start understanding that there's like an oblique here that connects down to here. So you can erase out these suckers. You know, the belly buttons here. You get that, and then the legs. And you just start building it up. Your drawings are going to be very messy, you know, in the beginning because you're doing so much layering, learning. My drawings got really messy because I was trying to layer on that knowledge, and I had to actually draw it to make it make sense. Right? How do you correct something you don't know? Like, how do you find references related to that pose, assuming you've drawn it from imagination? Um, Hi, last doodle, thank you. Uh, so there are multiple ways you can do it. If you're really curious about that specific pose, sometimes I just sort of, or I would say most of the time, I would argue I just kind of let that go. If I really am curious, like this pose, for instance, you can do one of two things. If I really was just curious about this kind of pose, like I don't understand the musculature that's happening here. How do I fix this if I wanted to? Um, well, actually, I'd say one of three things. One, you could find um, reference that is this exact pose. That's going to be a little difficult, obviously, um, but it is entirely possible that you might find something very similar. Two, you can take the reference yourself, either set up a camera or have someone take a camera picture of you. Um, you'd have to at least take off your shirt for this part, but take your own reference. And you can learn that. I typically do not do that. What I do is the third method, which might seem insane, but I think it actually helps more. But because again, we're looking for flexible knowledge. So what I'll do is I'll find poses that might be, especially from artists, uh, but I'll also find photos. But I'll be like, today I want to study because I'm stuck at this. I want to study poses that I'm looking down on, right? Like this, from the side. And so I'll get like 10 or 15 pictures, some from artists, all of varying poses and stuff, but still from mostly the side and from mostly top down. Like I'm looking down at them. And then I will start to understand some of what is happening here enough so that I can gauge what's happening in my own pose. And again, that's how I'm problem solving, trying to Uh, it's like you're filling in gaps of information. Um, I'm trying to think of a good way to describe this. Think of it as almost like excavating knowledge. Like, I'm gonna do something here that might be a little wonky, so just give me 1 minute. um, okay, so say you want to know how to draw the letter A in perspective. Bug just hit me in my face. Um, uh, you want to know how to draw the letter A in this perspective, right? Think of this as the figure. Um, but you're very unsure of a lot of things over here, right? Um, so this is what you see in your head. You're like, I know that that has a top here, and I can see under it here, and that's about it. I'm confused at all the other, if you're thinking of anatomy, I'm confused about how all the other anatomy works. Like down here, I could sort of guesstimate at the legs, the head, the neck and shoulder area, but I was struggling with this area, kind of the arm a little bit. Um, so when I study those images, like I said, I'm going to study this letter A, the anatomy, from an upward angle um, at a, whoop, Jesus, at a 3/4 view, right? So I might, uh, I'm going to look at 15 images and draw them from this like 3/4 A view from above. And then I start filling in those gaps of knowledge. I'm like, okay, I know that this is here now, and I can figure out that this is here. You're not going to get everything, maybe a little bit more like that. And then you'll go back to drawing from imagination, and you'll actually learn stuff because you'll be pulling things from memory, right? Because this is where you really deeply learn. You'll be like, oh, shoot, I forgot about that in this part. That makes sense now. Oh, and I get that this goes like this now. And this is just one pose, right? You have to problem solve for every pose imaginable. And then you'll go back and you'll be like, okay, I still am missing something. So let's study specifically this part under the A. And then you'll get that and fill that out and yada yada yada. Okay. I hope that made sense. Akil. Um, think of yourself as an excavator of knowledge and you're problem solving. And I typically don't want um, to, I don't like taking my own reference because that seems tedious, but also I don't want the problem to be solved for me. Plus, you have to, if you want to be good at, you know, making figures, you have to design this out. You can't just draw it as you see it. So, um, it's you're you're doing a couple things where you're trying to problem solve the area without giving yourself the exact solution, because even if you have the exact solution, that's not the designed one. That's why it's really good to study from other artists, because you'll see how they design stuff, um, how they transformed like the regular life to make it look more interesting. um, I hope Akila's still here, and that made a whole bunch of sense. I haven't had to explain that before, so that was interesting. A good digital artist is basically, or a good studying artist, I guess, is like a knowledge excavator. This goes in here and like that. Do not know. Don't know. See, this would be something I'd have to study. You're here, Akil? Okay, good. Did that make sense? Me using my weird A analogy? It's an interesting way to learn. I never tried it. I'll surely look into it. Yeah, I think it will give you the most freedom. Like, yes, um, you could take the reference of yourself or whatever, and you'll do just fine. But if you allow yourself to like go through the difficult parts of figuring out how to problem solve these things, and designing them out yourself, you will become a much, much stronger artist for it. Because the answer wasn't just handed to you and you just copied it, right? You didn't try to design it or make it interesting. I think I've shown the piece of reference here. Oh, crap. Stupid Windows nonsense. Where are you? Reference. I know it's in here. Here it is. I don't know if anybody has seen this before. I think I shared it once. Um, if you take a reference of yourself, right, you are going to see this and draw this. This is what most people do. And I would argue this is why I don't like the artists that do, or I should say, it's very dangerous to do this is the bad way to draw a head, and this is the good way to draw the head, because they end up they end up doing good things in the bad one. It's so frustrating. So, anyways, I would argue he designed the arms here a little bit too much. But this specifically, this torso area is very obvious that he copied, and then this one is designed. And if you look at the difference between the two, even though this is like a 3D form, right? When you draw it, it looks flat. And it doesn't look as nice as this one. And because this one is designed to be more aesthetically pleasing, and it has design in it. It's thinking about the principles of design. Um, so this is sort of what I'm trying to warn you about, is like, even if you take a photo of your reference to fix, or you find the exact reference you need to fix a pose, right? You're getting this information. And you want this. Oh God, I'm actually deleting pieces of the image. Um, and again, you could argue that you can use your reference and then go straight to this, which you can do. I just think you'll become stronger by getting, variations of this pose from other artists, and then using photos to sort of understand what they did, and then trying it for yourself. Because you never, You really are never going to find reference. You'd have to create a ton of your own reference to get all of the poses that you want, which means you'll subconsciously also limit the poses that you do because you'll stay in these like safe parameters because you know it's going to be hard to get reference of like this top down view. And some of the most interesting art, um, if you look at someone like Yoni Yamamai or my favorite artist Ray or something, they draw in poses, especially like anime characters. Like this is a really cool one, right? Uh, you're really gonna go out there and take reference of from a low angle of people from all of these poses and then try to dress it up. Like that is so friggin' tedious to me. I would rather know how to do this, right? And you get much more organic shapes and lines because you went out and actually challenge yourself. Let's see if there's a more realistic figure that she's done. Here's a here's a good one. That's a really cool shot. Are you really gonna put your, camera up in your bathroom and try to get this exact pose so you can create something cool? Wouldn't it be better for you to just know how these forms work so that you can draw it yourself? Like, yeah, it'll be harder at first, but once you know it, it's not going to be so bad. And you'll make some really cool design decisions because you're not focusing so hard on what the photo of your reference is looking like. You're focused on the design and how cool you can make it look. Even if it breaks the anatomy or the pose or the forms, you can't, you cannot, bigger draw. You cannot do this stuff expertly well like this and well designed like this uh, if all you do is study from reference. You won't. You have to draw from imagination, you have to problem solve and figure things out. I'm sure she still uses reference and it's still okay to do that and have be inspired and all that stuff, but she can draw this without any reference whatsoever. And that is having real freedom with your art because your skill is incredibly flexible. So you can draw any pose in any from any angle. Uh, oh damn. Okay. Topple other artists and be the best. Yeah, that's not necessary. I mean, it for people who like to, for a long time when I was in school, I wanted to be the best. Um, and that was something that really kept me going through some projects and stuff. Um, I think it's okay to have that kind of competitive spirit as long as you're not putting other people down because of it. Not everybody wants to do that, and it's perfectly fine to be, you know, a hobbyist. Um, and like I said, it's perfectly fine to use reference. You can become an amazing artist even doing it that way. Um, but it's also important that people know the realities of, uh, if you want to be able to do this, you're gonna have to be a little bit uncomfortable and draw this way. I think it'd be cool if we had some kind of like art competition. It'd be so hard to judge though. Art is so subjective, especially when you get up into those professional ranks. Like they're all gonna be good. So what are you really judging based on? Or what would you really be judging based upon? Yeah, not every artist wants to get better. They're fine with the current skill they have. I do think though that there are a lot of artists that do want to get better, that stagnate, like they're just stuck because they got to a level where they're comfortable with, and they're just like, I'm getting views, you know. I don't want to do. Oh crap, my music is out. My music. You know, they're getting views or whatever, and they're happy with that, and they kind of just like, it's like the person who gets an award at school and just keeps riding that high and like trying to, like, they're just afraid to move on to the next step because maybe that's all that as high as they're gonna go, which is sad. You don't want people to stop there. There are some people that are also just perfectly fine um, with where they're at, and so we need to respect that as well. Well, it just depends. I wouldn't assume just because somebody is a hobbyist or even says that they don't want to get any better, that that's actually their true feelings. Because they may be hiding from themselves. But again, no one should be putting anybody down for not wanting to be the best. It's not necessary. Some people just want to get good enough um, to put their ideas on paper, to see some of their ideas come to life, and that's good enough for them. I'm probably still of that mindset where I'm like, I want to be the best, but for myself, you know. I don't need to crush anybody with my art. I'm sure it'll be a nice feeling when, you know, I had teachers in high school that thought I wouldn't amount to anything, so maybe it'll be a nice feeling to be really good. Be like, shh, that showed you. Everyone has their own goal, and some might have pretty small goals. Yeah, that is true. Not everybody is ambitious. Super ambitious. I would argue that a lot of artists are pretty ambitious though. Because I mean, most of the time, a lot of people get into this because they want to like create games or movies or something. They saw a Marvel movie or they played Cyberpunk or something, and they're like, "Damn, I want to create characters like that." And that takes the real skills. Be back. Gotta brush my teeth. It's 11 at night here. Okay, Keel. Have fun. So I looked at your site about drawing. I really like the way you presented the site. Thanks. Thank you, Sod. I have to really update that site because it is old as hell now, and it hurts to look at. I've wanted to update it for a while now. Just haven't been able to. And I also don't know. I have to like redesign it, so I just don't know what to design it to just yet. Gee, this is so freaking hard. Just want to tell badass stories with cool depth. Yeah, me too. Boy. I'm not gonna try to get any better than that, but all that good. Alright, let me take a quick break here. Oh, try to catch up on some of what you guys have said, because I think I missed a bunch of stuff. Ave... Do I say Ave Minx? Mink. What is the... Sorry. What is the, like, pronunciation? Or is it okay just calling you Ave? They should all be obsessed with their own art and doing whatever it takes to make their art the best it can be. I think, obsession is the wrong word. I think it should be, curious. I mean, it's okay to be obsessed. Some people get obsessed with fandoms and stuff and draw lots of cool fan art, so that is awesome if that's what you want to do. But I think when you're trying to learn and you're struggling to do that, being more curious than you are frustrated is really the thing that's going to help you move forward. Like, instead of being mad that you suck, be curious about, I don't know how to do this. How do I make this work? And just that small little, like, change can really make a big difference in how you approach your work and how you want to keep improving it. Not everyone's going to want to draw hyper-realistic stuff. Maybe someone to draw Vivienne Medrano. Not sure what that is. Quacking, you're trying to change your perspective. I want cool shit, so I'm going to make cool shit for myself instead of the constant comparison to other artists. Oh crap, do I have my Discord link on my site still? I'm sorry, Quacking. I will take it off. My sister's friend had the chance to compete in World Championship in fencing, but it means she would never have time for a normal teen life, so she said, nope, I don't want this. Yeah, that's a real thing. That's pretty cool though. World Championship in fencing. It depends on who you are as a person, right? Some other people might see that as a really cool thing to do and not want a normal teen life. I think if I were to go back and do it, I would have loved to go. Like, I might have sacrificed my normal teen life to go to like a live-in art school or something. That probably would have been really cool if I knew to like nourish that skill at the time. Or I had no skill, so just nourish the passion for art. My sister uh, is actually a good example. She kind of didn't go the normal teen route. She wanted to do ballet, and she went to some schools to do that, and sort of sacrifice some of her normal teen life. And then at a certain point, she realized or she figured she wasn't like tall enough to be a ballerina, the people who they usually choose for those kinds of roles. And she switched over to being a lawyer and went head first into that, and is a kick-ass lawyer today. So it really just depends on who you are as a person and what you want to do. I'm sure she would have been really accomplished even doing ballet, but that's what she chose. JKO, I have a little list of artists I want to study and be like. I know I won't be able to take everything each artist does. Uh, I mean, you can. When you get really good, you can draw in pretty much any style you want. You can see what really makes up another artist's skill and style. Not that you would want to, because you might create a weird like monster drawing if you're trying to like just hack things together that don't work. But you can take the things that do work together and make your own I mean, that's what we do. That's how you make your own style. You take stuff from a little bit from every little artist and you find your own thing. Let jealousy fuel you, not destroy you. I would say just don't let jealousy become part of the equation at all. You should really be focused on your own work. Yes, Ave would be right. Um, Ballet is a cruel career, apparently, so I don't blame her. Yeah. Um, Quacken is a bad motivator, but as anyone's single destructive emotion to their arts, they turn around and chase the greats, even out of jealousy. Yeah, again, you want to get rid of those kinds of toxic thoughts and emotions. You don't want to let them try to fuel you, because it's just going to lead to more toxic behavior. Or making up for things with other kinds of toxic behavior. So jealousy is just not needed. I mean, there are times where you're gonna feel envious of other artists and be like, oh, I wish I was there, or I wish I was a little bit better, I wish I understood this more, and you're gonna get frustrated. Um, but the envy of looking at other people's work is not what drives me to be better, because that's such a it's not really a motivator, you know. It's something that my own projects, things that I want to create, are the things that are going to want to motivate you to do better. uh I have a bit of a problem with draw a box Ave. I don't think it's a good apparently a lot of people like it, but I really think it's gonna make you more bored and frustrated with his challenges than I think is actually gonna help you. I understand it's hard to. It's not like I've come out with my own curriculum or anything, so it's really hard to tell people not to follow a certain curriculum. Hot take incoming. I don't want to bash on him, because for some people it does work and they like the challenge, but I also don't. I think you're uh, what is the phrase? You're getting a lot of diminishing returns from his exercises. Like, what is the first thing he has you do? Is like 250 boxes. There's no point in doing that. And most people which is why you can see like on, I think it's on the Reddit or something, most people only talk about like the first challenge because everybody starts and stops at the boxes. Not everybody, there's some people that make it past that. Yes, exactly. Like you could draw 15 boxes, like 5 each, 1, 2, 3 point perspective or something, and understand 3, 1, 2, and 3 point perspective. You don't need to draw that many. You're still gonna suck at drawing the boxes because you suck at drawing. Like you just started. um, but there's still no point in drawing more of those boxes to help you understand perspective, which you pretty much already get from drawing the first like 5 boxes. Uh, you need to start putting it into real applications of things, which he does get to, and he does use the learning that we get from VisCom, which is visual communication. I'm gonna sit back down now. Why? And that information is really useful. I don't know. I haven't looked too deeply into what he has you do for those things because, again, most people stop at that beginning part. And so did I. I just didn't think it was very worth it. Yeah, Ryuzaki, you're right. Forgot about that. I did all of those because I was in Peter Han's class. Um, that was the first class. I talked about it in the. I wonder. So yeah, one of the first things we did is we drew lines. So you draw small lines, medium lines. Oops, that's too big. Medium lines, and then the lines across the whole page. And then you have to go over the line too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we did it 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna do shitty on this long line. But Peter Ham was amazing. If you know, Drawbox is kind of like well, it really is. It's basically Viscom, but it's a poor man's Viscom, and I just wouldn't do it. Peter had to, he was teaching an actual course, so he had to shove all of this information into a 14-week course. So he took us to like a car museum and a train museum, an airplane museum, an arboretum to draw plants, and he would teach us how to draw those things. So like if we wanted to draw when we wanted to draw cars, we had to come in here, and we were doing this all with pen, and come in here and draw a car, and then try to figure out where the wheels are and learn oh they fit in like that into the squares, and then we would draw the angled thing of here, and then I don't know what kind of car this is. It's ridiculous. But and then you start carving out things and making like rounding off stuff so it doesn't look so wonky looking. But I learned a shit ton in that class. It was very accelerated, quick learning. It was awesome. But yeah, that Drawbox is essentially just Peter Han's class of visual communication. And anybody, I don't know where, I'm guessing Peter got it from Art Center. I feel like he went to that school. I can't remember though. So he might have gotten it from someone else as well. Alright, I need new pose, new pose. Just give me one sec, Ave. I'll get to your questions. Okay, I've got a pose. So, um, Ave, who are your top 3 art YouTubers? That's a hard question. I feel like that would stir up a lot of drama, but oh, you know who this may not be the right like answer in terms of like their art, but as YouTubers, like the videos they make are amazing. So Gox, um, if you know Gox, and their art is cool too. So Gox is the first one. TPPO, TPPO is amazing. And again, not very active, but probably TV Choi. It might be a good thing to do dumb, tedious exercises now and then if you're stressed about art, because you'd actually be moving a pen and paper. Quack, and yeah, I have to agree. There's some times where you do stuff just for confidence, not necessarily to help you improve, but it is to help you make sure you do the art thing. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But yeah, Gox and TBBO make incredible YouTube videos. Gox specifically is just really good as a filmmaker. TPBO is really good with After Effects. So I've been very focused on their videos right now because I'm trying to improve on both of mine. Michael Hampton, he came out with a book, so, and it's very simplified way of learning anatomy. I didn't know he had a YouTube channel though. That's interesting. I'll have to check that out. Let's make the torso too long. Get the feeling we're all very much kindred spirits since I've heard of everyone mention. Yeah, Proco has a lot of really amazing stuff, that is true. Marco Bucci. Cynics has had some really great videos. Bobby Rebholz. I have not heard of him before. Jake Yo, but I'll check him out. My god, I have a lot of artists to look at, apparently. basically my art dad at this point. He's great because he tends to make art talk videos, less about doing of art, more the mental side of art. Who's Adam Duff? Sounds like what I'm doing. I feel like I've seen this guy's face before. Oh, that might explain it. He draws or paints scary ass creatures, and I probably have not looked at his work. Is he really good, Quacken? He's a great role model, no more, no less. Okay. Good to know. He's good, yeah, though, yeah, scary creatures from folklore. Oh yeah, 4 works in the industry. I actually haven't seen any of your work for. Is there a way that we can view it? Do you have a portfolio or something, or do you mind sharing? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'd be curious to check out your stuff. And share my Tumblr. That's where I upload my more recent stuff. I don't know if a link will work. What's Tumblr? um, if you like, I don't know. Is there a hacky way to share a web address? Like if you just type in the part between the www and the .com. I can take a look. You can all get to 4's level. We'll all get there. Just gonna take a little bit of time. It's like this weird. Oh, I just search up your name. For the range GD. Oh, oops. Oh, I found your Tumblr. Art tag. Oh wow, not bad. I love the still life practice. Is pretty damn cool. Ooh, those oranges look nice. The sheep. Very nice, dude. I don't see any of the stuff. Maybe it's under NDA or something that is from your work. I've used that handle since I was 16, yeah. Pretty much the same with Arc Zephyr. I don't upload the Iron Man friend jobs since I work with casino games. Ah, okay. But if you look up Jalapenos Thunder Kick Slot. Oh damn. I like the I guess this is the logo with the big face on there. That's cool. An art job is an art job, right? Even if it's casino slot games. Looks like you might get to do some fun stuff in here as well. How do you like it? How do you like doing um like casino slot machine stuff? Is it fun? I went with a more cartoony direction. Phoenix Paradise. Oh, that's cool. The birds look really awesome. That art is very pretty. Did you work on Phoenix Paradise too? You did, yeah, to the background symbols and animations. That's awesome. That must be so cool having your work out there. Good for you for. Like I said, I hope we'll all get there. Just take a little bit of time. Of my job, not that we make stock games, but we're game artists and devs aren't left to just one genre of games. We love to make games for kids or visual novels. That's really cool. Both of those sound like fun. I remember saying something similar to someone, job's a job, I guess, even if it's for NFT related stuff. They did not like that. Yeah. I was looking for more work recently. This is with graphic design stuff, and it was an AI company, and I was just like, they offered me an interview, and I was like, I'll go. Just maybe it's not like terrible. And then the moment I get in there, they started talking about ChatGPT and stuff, and I was just like, you could see, I could feel that they could see the disappointment on my face. I was just like, God, no thanks. I really need the job, but I can't do it. Plan on making a game or two in the future. That's awesome. One hard pill to swallow is you really can't choose what games you want to work with, at least if you're hired. Well, I mean, you can choose the company, right? So if you work for Riot, you know you're going to work on one of their games. And typically job applications do say what team you're going to be on. Not that you might be exclusive to that, but depends on the company, how big the team is and stuff too. Well, I hope you get to work on some stuff that, you know, like the visual novel or kids book like you want to in the future. That would be fun. It's too hard of a head tilt. Want to work in the industry, you shouldn't aim for X position and Y company. It's better to just aim for getting hired within your field of skill. Suppose you could think of it like get so good at your work that takes as little out of you as possible during the workday, so you have energy to do other things at night or the weekends. It's a mature way of looking at it. Yeah, a job is still a job. You shouldn't be giving 100% for anything unless it's your own stuff. We did talk about speed the other day, that it might be one good reason to get really fast. It's just to get your job done quicker. You disagree about not giving 100%? Knee or back pain or neck pain or wrist pain. Yeah, I can promise you that not a single person works 100% in the industry without either getting burned out or like having severe mental health issues and or ruins their relationships. You know, it was notorious at Naughty Dog that a couple people like lost their marriages because they gave way too much of themselves to the company to get out a game. It's just not healthy. Yeah, the perfect or nothing mentality. That's terrible. Again, if it's for your own stuff, like again, you don't want to kill yourself. That's that's not the point. It's like you want to give it your all, um, but you don't want to kill yourself over it. And then, you know, again, a job is a job, because when they ask for 100%, they're looking for 120. You know, they're never just looking for 100%. You don't want to tell them what your 100% is, because they'll ask for 120. So you give them 80 and say that's your best. And trust me, tons of people are managing at like 50%. You'll look great at 80. It's not hip or cool or poggers. Oh god. But you love so much, you want to give 100% of what you have every day you clock in. Is that still toxic? Yes, it is. Oh, nice. Glad you're home, Jakio. Yeah, exactly. Your boss is going to use that to their benefit. Like I said, if you give 100, you give 100% every day, not only are they going to see this, that you're working super hard, but they're going to think that you can work harder. So they're going to expect 120 or maybe more. You need to give them 80 or even less. Most people probably give like 50%. I think there's that statistic of like how you only get 2 to 3 hours of real work done in a day, because meetings and bosses and listening to people and all that. But yeah, you want to start at a low enough number so that you don't look bad, but when your boss asks for 100%, you're not already there. This is job 101. This is just for artists. Yeah, you'll just get taken advantage of in the workplace in general, not just for art. Jeez. That was something I learned really quickly. I mean, I wish it wasn't like that, but it is. Fortunate. Position at a place that has low turnover is a good sign. Yeah, that is a good sign. There are very few studios that are actually really worth working for. Like I heard with all the cuts in the industry that the studio, is it Atlas that makes Persona 5? They gave them all raises. I don't know by how much, but they weren't losing their jobs like everybody else in this industry. So they took care of their employees, so I'm sure it's better to work it's better to work for a company like that. And then there's the people who made Baldur's Gate 3, Larian Studios. Like, they have really good development practices, and obviously people are happy, and they made their consumers happy by treating everybody with frickin' respect. So there are some companies that are worth, you know, maybe giving them that 100%, but I would use it very sparingly, making sure you don't wear yourself out and knowing how to balance it well. Oh yeah, 4. Thank you for describing low turnover. They fire and rehire people very often. It usually means the work isn't good or the pay is shit or people are only contract workers. Yeah. Like Amazon, for instance, has a crazy high turnover. I think they came out with a study about how they basically are expected not to have to run out of people to hire because they have such high turnover that they've chased everyone away. So yeah, high turnover is a bad thing. If you see that, typically you want to run away. This is too low. Four, you're very knowledgeable. Yeah, four is a smart guy. I'm very happy to have him in here. And all of you, honestly. You're all pretty sharp. Even if you don't know stuff, you guys aren't afraid to ask questions and stuff, which is nice. Not just from me, but questions of each other, you know? You guys are curious and very helpful. Bye, Ryuzaki. Have a good one. It is good to tell someone you don't know something, but you're willing to learn. Yeah, no, that's great. Some people don't know how to humble themselves to say, I don't know this, and they'd rather spit off some like non-answer or something that they may think is right, but they have no grounds to believe that it actually is right. They just don't want to look dumb or something. Think you're stupid because you don't know stuff? Yeah, no. I mean, I think that's definitely one of the problems when people start art is they think they're dumb and everything, and it's just like, bro, you've never done this before. Why are you getting mad at yourself for not knowing how to do something you've never done? Like, give yourself a little bit of time to learn. It's okay to not know stuff. Very good. recently found out Kim Jong-gi passed away a year ago. Yeah, that was tough. He was a really good person in the art community. Yeah, there's a couple of artists that have similar styles to Kim Jong-gi. Um, the canvas more. Keep forgetting. We'll remember. Super Annie are hosting exhibitions. I think there's one in Paris until March. Oh, I hope it comes to the States. Oh, I'll have to visit Korea, I guess, if that's where it's permanently at. Alright, I think that was a good session. He was the Leonardo da Vinci of the 20th century. I mean, he was definitely a house name, but he's... I don't know if he's the Da Vinci. I don't know if that's a correct comparison, but he was himself. And he was notable for what he did, which was being able to draw, you know, straight out of his head, big scenes that were very complex. And he even talks about some of the stuff that I've been talking about. How to draw from imagination, how to make sure your skill is flexible. You can draw from anything from any angle. In terms of impact he had and the dent he left in the art community. Yeah, I don't know what it was like for Da Vinci back in the day, but if that was the case, then yeah, he definitely left a really big impact in the art community. And I'm just it kind of stinks, you know, when you see an artist pass away like that, especially one so good, because they had so much more to share, so much more of their ideas to bring to the world, and now they can't. So that is sad. Yeah, the way his perspective was insane. He had a lot of built-in muscle memory, which is why he could do those massive drawings without a sketch. Oh, I didn't know he was a comic artist. Does he have an actual comic? I'll have to check it out. If you're gonna say something, Jakio, I'm gonna hop off, so we're gonna end here in just a second. I think I did 4 decent poses. They feel stronger than usual, like more consistently strong than just being terrible. There's only 4 of those, so I was definitely drawing slower, but that happens. He started as a comic artist. Oh, okay. I wonder, I'll have to look up his actual comic. I want to check out his art book too. I'm pretty sure he has one. Or a couple, actually. Super Annie, I think, has his books, right? Oh, last stream when you asked about references for the arm, I was referring to the materials you were studying from. Oh, that was Andrew Loomis, figure drawing, and Michael Hampton. So, let's see. I think those were the 2 that we were using. I think in Korea you have to serve the military. when you come of age. Yeah, every man in Korea has to enlist in the military. I forget how long you have to go for, but yeah, they all have to go. You're shocked. Yeah, I was shocked about that too. I thought like BTS would get an exception or something because they're like a really popular K-pop band, and is that K-pop? That's right. Yeah, Korean pop. Uh, and they still had to do it too. It's for a year or two, Tara. Yeah, I think that's right. That sounds right. That's why Kim Jong-gi did a lot of military themed stuff. I'm sure he drew while he was in the military, like passing the time when you're bored out of your mind. Yeah, it's kind of crazy too. Like people who are very influential and make a lot of money for Korea, you'd think that they would give some people a pass. But I guess it's not fair, and it would be, you know, it does make things a little fair. Yeah, if you're on guard duty and it's just boring and it's not like there's no security concerns at all, I might as well pop open the sketchbook. Rather do that than shoot people, I'm sure. I didn't know Elvis was in the military. Y'all are dropping some interesting facts. Oh, speaking of which, well, not speaking of which, sorry, just an idea came to my head. Tomorrow we're gonna do an art break day. This is gonna be, I think, the first time I've done this, but I was just gonna play games and stuff. I'm not sure what to play, so if anybody likes video games and has an idea, I'm trying to think of what to do. If I should just boot up Cyberpunk because that's what I'm currently playing, or try something new. If you guys just want to hang out, I can actually be able to talk more because I'm so lasered in on drawing. Um, Denzel Washington was in the army too. That's interesting. You come by, okay, cool, Quacking, thank you. Um, I can't decide what to play. It's really frustrating. Playing Warcraft: Rise of the Tomb Raider, a little bit about Dead by Daylight. If you like visual mystery novels, I'd Slay the Princess. It's great art. Play Last of Us 1 and 2. I'm afraid to blow your mind again, Ave, but I actually worked as QA at Naughty Dog. So I worked on some of the Uncharted games and The Last of Us 2. Uh, I knew the entire story before it came out because they made us play through a whole version of the game when it was still like um, I mean some levels were somewhat finished, like they had uh, geometry and things like that, but uh, some of them were just like blocks. There was nothing there. It was just kind of like story and some voice acting and stuff. Um, but they made us play with what was there. So that was fun. I worked on the multiplayer for Uncharted as well. Yeah, the one that I spent the most time on was the Uncharted Lost Legacy. It was the spin-off with Chloe and Nadine. I was in charge of like a whole level there for QA, and I'd have to go, to different departments and test bugs and um, make sure the effects were working correctly. I've platinumed that game like 8 times because I could play Uncharted again. That might be fun. They have the version on the PC now with what is it called? Um, the Thieves Collection or something, and that has Uncharted 4 and the Lost Legacy. That could be potentially fun. But yeah, Lost Legacy was a blast to help make and bring to life. I logged a ton of bugs, But it was a really cool learning experience, and um, it definitely pulls makes the mystery of games and stuff. It's a little tough. I don't think I would want to stay QA forever just because of how you see too much into how things work, and it removes some of the mystery and allure of the game. Plus, if you work for your favorite studio, you're gonna know the story in and out before it comes out. You'd probably be bored of it. That's what happened to me with Lost Legacy. If you do, please point out fun things you QA'd. Oh, for sure. My whole level I'll talk about. It was like, I forget what the name of the level was. Um, but I'll know it when it pops up. It, you worked on my childhood, bro. Yeah. Last of Us 1 was my favorite game for the longest time, so I was super psyched to get the job there. But they had already finished that, obviously, and they had finished Uncharted 4. I think we had to play Last of Us 1 for some like patches to help with, but that was pretty much it. So I worked on mostly The Lost Legacy and then a little bit of The Last of Us 2. My name's in the credits of The Lost Legacy. They said it would be in Last of Us 2, but I haven't actually played the second Last of Us. So I haven't seen if my name is actually in the credits. Thank you, guys. DLU was... Yeah, it was. The art book. The art was great. It was really cool having access to Naughty Dog's folders and stuff too, because I could... Like, we had access to everything. I could look at the story, I could go look at the concept art. So it was really awesome to experience that. And Naughty Dog was great. Like, we did have crunch, but they would always get food for us. So it was, they treated us pretty well. The pay is not super awesome, but it was fun for what it was. Thank you, Quacken. Oh, you've been playing Cyberpunk 2, Quacken? Zeph's like war flashback. Yeah, there were some times. There was this one time I always like to tell the story, but there was so much. We were doing crunch for so long. It was like this 2-week period where I lived kind of far away, so I screwed myself a little bit in this respect, but we would get there so early and leave so late that I literally just had time to sleep, and I could not get my laundry done so much that I had to go out, and when I came back home from work, or just before I went to work, I went to like Target to buy underwear because I didn't have time to wash clothes. So I was like, I need to buy underwear, otherwise I'm gonna be wearing dirty underwear. So I had to go to the store. It was kind of nuts. That only lasted for like 2 or 3 weeks though, and we were fine. Yeah, it's great when they feed you. And because I eat plant-based, I was, vegan at the time, so I got to order, I had like a stipend of what I got to order because my dietary needs were different. So sometimes the food I got to choose for what I got to order instead of like being a part of the huge, what is it? The like catering trays, of food. They would tell me, oh, we're ordering here for the plant-based people today, vegan people today, so you could just choose off the menu and make sure you didn't go over a certain amount of money. I feel you on that. I work for a music studio as a runner, saw a lot of famous artists, but the pay was low. Yeah. Pay is super low, but yeah, I did see a couple of people because I got to go to the launch party for Lost Legacy, so I saw the voice actress for Chloe. I think the guy who does Nathan Drake, I don't remember seeing him because obviously it wasn't his game. I did see what's his name? The guy who voices Sam and Joel in The Last of Us. Oh my god. Does anybody remember the Joel voice actor? I can't remember his name. Is vegan food nice? It can be nice, yeah. Like Four said, you definitely have to pay attention to how you're cooking things and spice things well. And but yeah, vegan food is great. You could still eat really unhealthy eating vegan. That's why I try to say I'm plant-based. A lot of people like to be vegan to be healthy, but then they slather everything in a shit ton of oil. Troy Baker. Yes, thank you, JKO. Troy Baker was there. The voice actors for Chloe. I think Nadine was there too. And a handful of other people. Plus, I get to see the artists that are well known in the industry and everything, so that's very cool. Oh, Sea of Stars would be fun too, JKO. I'll think about it today. These are good ideas. Uncharted, Cyberpunk, Sea of Stars. I have played Assassin's Creed. I haven't played Valhalla or the newest one. But the last one I played was Odyssey. That was such a big game. It's great though. QA usually do stuff late in development, so they often get the most crunch if the production doesn't stick to schedule. Yeah, that is true. They only bring on like a couple people in the beginning for QA because there's not much to do. But once everything's in the game, now you need a ton of QA people to run around and make sure and break stuff, basically. Make sure it all works. So typically, yeah, we're the last people who have to crunch, and then obviously when we have a bug, we give it to developers and stuff, so they have to fix it. So they're also sort of part of the crunch, but they're waiting for us to give them things. Doesn't work the same at every studio. As far as I know, Naughty Dog is pretty good about having QA and their bugs and doing that as a team. Like Starfield could be fun. I haven't played that yet. I have plenty of vegan vegetarian friends, so I get to enjoy some good cooking from time to time. I personally am very uncreative with food, so I just eat whatever I have. Yeah, we have some pretty awesome staple recipes, I would say. Especially things that I didn't think would be so good. Like a mac and cheese recipe, for instance. I make a mac and cheese recipe with sweet potato and carrots, and then you mix it with nutritional yeast and spices, and damn, it tastes so good. But you could easily make that really unhealthy, right? There's another recipe that tastes very much like store-bought Velveeta cheese. It's like creamy. It still tastes really good, but it's like a quarter cup of oil and stuff, so it's less healthy. Okay, some vegan foods are pretty good. Mostly stay away from plant-based frozen store stuff. Oh yeah, the what is it, the like fake meat stuff? You typically don't want to buy super processed stuff because it's all junk. I think even the owner of Whole Foods was like, you won't catch me like ever eating any of that fake plant meat because it's so processed. You just combine random stuff, Avi. No shame in that either. Sometimes I do that too. I feel like I've become enough of a good cook where I can make some things from scratch because I know a little bit about how spices go together and things like that, so. Impossible, yeah, the Impossible meat. Don't ever buy that shit. It's so bad for you. Don't do that. Okay, guys, I'm gonna let you go. I'll figure out whatever the hell game we're gonna play by this evening so I can have it downloaded and everything good to go for tomorrow. I hope you guys hang out. I love white bread, carb haters. Bread is good for you. You can have bread. Just get good bread. Organic. Sourdough bread, really good. Find a bakery near you. Don't get crappy white bread from the store for please, please. Bread is delicious. I eat way too much bread. Alright, take care, guys. Yeah, you have a blessed day too, Jake. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Where we'll just relax. We can all take a break. Alright, bye.